There we are. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Another episode on whatever number we are on now, because I just keep forgetting. It's too large for me to remember. So that's my introduction for the day. Oh, good one. Anyway, so now we can introduce the guest. You can do a better intro than me, surely. So take it away.
Yo, what's going on? I am ThaRixer. Most people call me Ricky. I started speedrunning in 2011, and it's primarily what I've been doing for the past 14 years, about half my life now. And around when COVID started, right before COVID, actually, in late 2019, I started dabbling in YouTube scripted content and got more and more serious with that. So some people know me for like the Twitch stuff, like the speedrunning side, and some people know me for like the content creation, documentary style videos on YouTube. I would say so. Yeah, that's who I am. I'm 28. I'm from Denmark. Yeah, good being here.
Well, there we go. Proper introduction out of the way. So I guess we can dive right into the meat of the episode,
Sure.
which is just you talk about yourself for hours and I listen. So here we go. First question: how did you get started?
So yeah, how I got started speedrunning was a long time ago. So I guess I was first introduced to the idea of even like recording gameplay footage and like kind of putting that online and putting it on YouTube was in 2009. I saw a Let's Play by someone who like it was on the front page. I saw like Pokemon Fire Red episode 40. I was like, it looked HD and everything like that, and I was like, what is going on here? How is he capturing his Game Boy like this? Um, so I found out about emulators. I started doing like my own Let's Plays for a long time, and then like after about a year or two of doing Let's Plays, there was somebody that slid into my YouTube private message system DMs, which is defunct now, by the way, and asked me if I wanted to join a casual speedrunning tournament. So these people, because they were looking at the games that I covered on my channel, like I was doing Let's Plays of like Sly Cooper, Crash Bandicoot, Ratchet and Clank, games that are primarily for PlayStation 1 and 2 consoles. And they were like, "Oh, that he could be cool like to have in our tournament." And it was just really it was a speedrun tournament, but it was just a bunch of like casual Let's Players like racing and like doing fun tournaments. So it's like you pick Ratchet and Clank 3, race to 3,000 bolts. Sly Cooper, race to beat this mission or something like that. It was never full game or anything like that. Like full game runs were not even figured out at that point at all. So this tournament was called I'm a Speedrunner 3. So they'd already done two of the installments prior. I'm a Speedrunner 1 was Spyro, 2 was Crash, 3 was Spyro again. And when they asked me, I actually denied. I said, no, I don't, this doesn't sound like my kind of thing. They reached out again when I'm a Speedrunner 4 came around. I'm like, okay, this is Ratchet and Clank. Maybe I could do something here. Like, I'm willing to give it a go. So I joined and I made it to like it wasn't the semifinals. Yeah, I think it was the semifinals, but it was weird. The final match was like a four-way race. There were like four people in the final match, and it kind of opened my world. I'm like, wow, there's these little like skips and stuff like that, like people do. And so I stick around in that community, and I join I'm a Speedrunner 5, which is about Crash again, and I learn about neutral slide spins. This was like the first speedrun tech that I ever figured out, and I was like blown away. And it's like everyone like was a bunch of Let's Players. Nobody could like get the hang of how to get it to work. But then this guy comes in to the tournament and sweeps the whole thing. Nobody had heard of him before. His name was Samurai Man. You may have known about him. And Samurai Man tore through the whole thing because he was good at neutral slide spinning. He was like an actual speedrunner coming in. Like he was, you can find SDA posts of Samurai Man from like 2008. So he was already experienced with speedrunning at that point. And so he came in, he tore Crash 2 apart, Crash 1, and all this stuff. And he was like, he was like, hey, you guys are pretty good. You should check out this website, Speedruns Live. We're in 2012 now. And so he tells me and a bunch of other people, check out SRL. And so I go on SRL and it's just like this new world. I'm like, whoa, what is this Twitch thing? Like, I'd known about Justin TV and Ustream and all that stuff a while back. Some Let's Players that try to stream on those sites and stuff. But I was like, wow, Twitch, this is crazy. And SRL had this front page, and there were these people with thousands of viewers just speedrunning like Mario Sunshine or just various stuff, Donkey Kong Country or something like that. I remember watching it, and I was just like blown away. I was 15 years old, and at that point, like I was still running only Crash 2, and I would say I didn't really run it. It was my first speedrun game. Um, but at that point, like what I thought was like SRL was like it was for races, and people streamed their races. That's all it was. But slowly, I found out that like people were doing attempts, and people were like trying to beat world records and stuff like that. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. I want to try and do that with a game that's not Crash 2, because in my mind, I was like, that's my race game. So I picked Jak 3, and Jak 3. We'll get to that later, but it's like that's become the game I'm kind of known for, I would say. Um, and yeah, I started running that from scratch, and you can find out the whole history about it on YouTube. Um, but yeah, that's kind of how I got started, and I was in, man. I was hooked in 2012. That SRL era was beautiful. Like the community was so tight. Every time there was an online marathon, man, 50,000, 100,000 viewers were there just watching this one stream. It doesn't matter what the game was, man. It was the concept of speedrunning itself was just like magical, and everyone was hooked. And yeah, I've just stuck around ever since, man. I've only really taken like a big break in 2016. But besides that, I've been around for more than like almost half my life now. It's yeah, that's how I got started, really. And picked up new games, and it's been that way ever since, pretty much.
That's a fun start. Yeah, I didn't know YouTube had
Very different.
DMs.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, it's a very different start for most people, I think.
Yeah, coming from like the actual Let's Play perspective, I don't think I've heard that yet. Hmm.
Yeah, it's funny.
Kind of a natural progression though, if you're already like into the whole retro scene.
For sure.
It's cool to learn about it so early still, because back then it was still very primitive and not large.
Yeah, and all the games that were like we were running were like 12 to 8 years old. Like they weren't really that old. Like they weren't retro yet, I would
Yeah,
say, you
true.
know.
That's fair.
Like but now they're all over 25 years, 20, 25 years old, so it's like, yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm. The passage of time is a thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I'm not well versed in PlayStation games. I've never had PlayStation consoles until a year ago. I picked up a PS1 at a retro store for pretty cheap. I haven't really played it yet because I want to get a device that lets you, load the games onto it, and I haven't bought that yet. So, very I have not touched PlayStation, especially PS1 era, so I need to learn.
Hmm.
That's what we're here for. I need to
Yeah.
learn. So,
What must you learn?
well, just what are the heavy hitters in the speedrun scene that you have touched, and why are they pog, I guess?
So there's definitely okay, so in PlayStation, I think in general, most of us have kind of bonded over five franchises that have um trilogies of really good games. So on the PS1, you could kind of toss Ape Escape in there. It's kind of close, but there's on PlayStation 1, there's Spyro the Dragon, which has Spyro 1, 2, and 3 on the original PlayStation, all crazy good platformers. There's Crash 1, 2, and 3, Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, and 3. Also, just like all of what I'm about to mention are just games with really good movement, really fun gameplay, and I'd say the PS2 titles in particular have really good stories, and stuff like that. So on PS1, not much like craziness in the story or anything, just good gameplay, good vibes, good story, good music. Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, 3, also CTR, but yeah, and then Spyro 1, 2, 3. Then the creators of Crash Bandicoot went on to make Jak and Daxter on the PS2. So there's Jak and Daxter, the precursor legacy, Jak 2 and Jak 3. That's like what I'm quite known for is Jak and Daxter. And then the people that made Spyro, the Insomniac, who still make great games today, Insomniac worked on Ratchet and Clank, and then Ratchet and Clank Going Commando, and Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal. That's like and they've made more too, but that's like the iconic trilogy that all follow a similar structure of sorts. And then a new studio called Sucker Punch, which had actually made a game on N64 called Rocket Robot on Wheels, which is pretty cool as well. I've played that. Not many people know about it. But they made Sly Cooper. So Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, Sly 2 Band of Thieves, and Sly 3 Honor Among Thieves. So it's like Crash, Spyro, Jak, Ratchet, Sly. That's like the five. That's the Power Five, basically. That's like your classic PlayStation era platformer. So it's like you have 15 games and it's like it's very likely that you find a lot of crossover between people that grew up with one thing and then they get into the other thing, or they see something that's similar and then they try to get into it. So you'll have people from different communities just like coming together, trying out each other's games all the time. It still happens to this day, and people still bond pretty well despite not really like having tried every game that's in that franchise. Of course, there's more. Like there's Ape Escape 2, and Ape Escape 3. They're kind of similar, but I think the fact that Ape Escape 1 is on PS1 and then 2 and 3 are on PS2, that's like kind of the only one that's got that little separation there. Um, doesn't quite put it into that like I guess iconic phase in a way, although Ape Escape's still quite popular still. But yeah, there's tons of other platformers like that, but that's like that I'll call that the Power 5
Yeah.
pretty much.
It's interesting that they just 5 separate series, although obviously they had some same developers, but all had trilogies, all on one console.
Mhm.
It's kind of interesting. You don't really see that anymore. I mean, franchises are large now that they're on game like 20 or whatever and don't number anymore. So
Yeah, or the game is so grandiose that they can't even make a sequel because the first one took so much effort. Yeah.
yeah, it's just yeah, you don't hear that very often, so that's cool. And then obviously PlayStation had so many games
Yeah.
compared to
The
anything
PS2,
else.
the PS2 especially. It's
Oh
the
yeah,
most has the most games ever, I think, out of any system,
yeah,
maybe.
probably because it's still the most sold console, I think. I don't know. They
Yep.
keep changing their numbers, so I don't know what to believe anymore. But yeah,
Yeah, this is the most sold video game console ever. It's yeah,
which is
it's
funny because I've never
super
owned
great.
one.
Yeah, I mean it depends on the era you come in from. I think just like digital media was with like just seeing a large boom in the early 2000s, and the PS2 just dropped at a really good time. And another thing that's really good about the PS2 is that it's a DVD player. And
Mhm.
at the time, it was low key cheaper to buy a PS2 than it was to buy a separate DVD player. And they could go for about the same price. So it's like, oh, I get the DVD player. I'll watch movies. Some parents gonna think, and then the kids can play PS2 games on it. So you have a 2-for-1 in this thing. It's super good. Like it was insanely good value at the time.
Mhm.
And they made so many of them that the price like fell, and even like second world countries were buying it and stuff years later. So it's like it just sold like crazy.
Yeah, I'll have to pick one up eventually. I'd like to because it's just weird that I've never owned one. I have a PS1 and a PS3 right now. So,
But no PS2. Yeah.
but no PS2. I know it's weird. But yeah, I was obviously a Nintendo boy, and then when I hit like middle school and high school, all my friends had Xboxes, so I just never had the PlayStation line.
Hmm.
So I don't really care about Xbox anymore, so I'm trying to switch over to PlayStation. But yeah, I only have a 1 and a 3.
Good
But
consoles too.
yeah. No, I love the PS3 era games. That's like my nostalgia. That isn't like retro Nintendo. So, plenty to browse in there still. Not quite as much as the other consoles, but pretty
Yeah, I
good.
played a couple PS3 games too, but not as many as 1 and 2
Yeah,
for sure.
for me the whole retro PlayStation is a world untouched world for me. So, and I don't think that's true for a lot of people, especially in this scene. So, I can have my eyes opened eventually. I'll get there.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, yeah.
as it stands
No,
right now, I know next to nothing. So, gotta learn.
that's good. Well, now you know about the Power 5, you know where to start.
I do know where to start, and that it. I
Yeah.
do actually have when I bought the PS1, it came with a few games, and one of them was Crash 3.
Oh,
So,
that's a good one. Yeah,
mhm.
that's a good one to start with. Yeah, no, it's a great game.
I'd
It's
probably
one of
want to
my
do the first two first, but you know.
yeah, Crash one's pretty hard,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's yeah. I mean, you're used to that. NES era is like super hard as well. So,
Yeah, it's fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. But
hmm,
yeah,
well, good.
we will get there. Just not yet. But so yeah, that's the power games, but didn't really go into the speedrun aspect of those games. So
True,
I'm sure
yeah.
there's a lot to talk about there.
Yeah, so I mean, like where do you start? What would you like to know about
Hmm.
like should any of the games or what makes them good or
I mean,
anything like
it's
the
hard to
origins
answer
of
when you know next to nothing, but obviously I've poked around here and there and have seen some stuff, but I can't speak from someone that's actually tried it or anything, so I yeah, just what makes it good.
yeah, I think a little bit of history, I guess, is when the SRL, like all of the, like most of these games didn't see much play before the SRL era, the Twitch era. So I think like when the Twitch era first started, Crash and Spyro were more in the forefront. Like PS1 was already retro at that point, and that kind of saw immediate play right away. So Spyro was pretty big and Crash was very big at the time. Crash was super big for racing, but I think Spyro was more popular uh, thanks to people doing attempts and stuff like that. People like Tuval and SSBM stuff were really, really big for the scene back in the day. But I mean, I think Spyro just had really, really good movement. There weren't a ton of tricks in the game at the time, in terms of Spyro 1 anyway, but Spyro 2 and 3 had so many tricks, especially Spyro 2, because there was a bug in the core movement system of the game where if you stand still and then um, jump while you're standing still and then charge, you'll go in like an arc upwards. So it's like a double jump. Whereas in Spyro 3, it was fixed. So when you jump, when you stand still, you charge, you dive downwards. But you can use that jump and then arc upwards, that double jump. You can use that to reach so many different spots. I mean, Spyro 2 is the record's like 7 minutes now.
Hmm.
It's nothing. And that has a really good world record history by MPAT, but that record started at like 50 minutes, 40 minutes, and now it's 7. So it's just a really broken game. Spyro 2's saw like I don't know, it kind of had a bit of everything. I guess if you wanted the raw collectathon nostalgia movement, that's just like um feels good to control and everything. It's Spyro 1. If you want like a super broken mess, you have Spyro 2, and something in between, you got Spyro 3. And I think it's just a very beloved franchise. It's got a very unique aesthetic that like no other game really has. It's just like a very dream world. Like it's almost like you could be asleep playing the game. Like it's something you would see in your dream almost.
Hmm.
And it's not a vibe a lot of games really went for. I think the appeal of Crash is that it had a movement tech that was easy to learn. Um, I mean, it was basically just sliding and spinning, but as you're in the middle of the slide, you let go of the direction that you're holding. This is for Crash 2, and that allows you to just go fast constantly. I mean, you're spamming hundreds of these throughout the run, and it just feels fun to like be pressing the buttons constantly, try to string these together in the smoothest succession possible. So it doesn't really matter how good at the game you are, you can still try and do that tech through like most of the run. And the Crash games, with the exception of maybe Crash 1, are pretty completable. It's just 25 levels, and it made for really good race games back in the day. So Crash and Spyro were very popular. They would get hundreds of viewers, and they would have lots of races back then. The PS2 era started a little bit later, I want to say. The first of the three was definitely Jak. Jak started first, um, and that's mostly because the first Jak and Daxter game. So first off, about Jak 1, Jak 1 came with a lot of PS2s back in 2001. So it was a lot of people's first game, so that's why it's so popular. Um, it's a really good collectathon, and it has a lot of different move sets. It's similar to Crash, but it's a bit more open world, and there was more potential for routing because everything was like open world, and there was like basically you had 101 power cells, and you needed 72 to beat the game. So it's like at the time the routing potential was crazy, and also skipping some of these power cell requirements was a huge thing as well. Can you get through the game without 72 power cells? And then we found out you could, and all this stuff. And I've made a video about that too, how we progressed from 72 power cells all the way down to like no spoilers, but
Mm.
single digits, which is crazy, just the way that those skips came to be. And yeah, Jak 2 and 3 smoothly followed as well. I started pioneering those scenes quite a lot by uploading my runs to YouTube and people finding out about them. And Sly Cooper also saw a lot of races. Sly Cooper has picked up a lot more in the last couple of years. Sly Cooper has always been plagued with unskippable cutscenes. in the games, which kind of suck. But there's a lot of tricks to get around them or to skip them anyway, like intentionally dying right before hitting the trigger or something like that. So Slide took a while to pick up, but they're seeing a lot of play, just as much as Jack and Ratchet are. Um, I think out of the games, if you want me to say what the hardest franchise is to get into speedrunning wise, it's definitely Ratchet. Ratchet's moveset is so hard to master. It is very like it's not unintuitive, but there's a lot of little micro things. Like your base character, like when you have all the weapons, all the gadgets on unlocked, you can do like 30 different things with your character to move fast. It's insane. And depending on the terrain or depending on what weapon you have in your hand or depending if you're on New Game Plus, if you have the menu active or depending on what thruster you have on your backpack or something like that, it's crazy. Like Ratchet is seriously insane for speedrunning. That drew in a lot of people. And I think it helped that for Ratchet speedrunning being so good, there was somebody like Zem, who's also a full-time streamer and content creator who is very known for Ratchet and Clank speedruns. I was also known for Ratchet speedruns quite a lot back in the day, but I haven't really run it in like, I think I last ran in 2021, so it's been a good minute. But every single one of these games have big faces attached to them today, and sometimes people collaborate, and it creates for this like network we call the PlayStation Nation that I've tried to um, kind of reunite in a way. I guess quick side tangent, but yeah, when I was on SRL and like the SRL era was kind of dying around like 2016, 2017, I really wanted to reunite all the like I missed the fact that like oh, I used to talk to this Slide runner. I used to talk to this Ratchet runner. Like, why aren't we in the same space anymore? It was like upsetting me. I don't know like why we were separated by games this much. So when ESA like so COVID happened and it was a really big hit for like speedrunning marathons in general. 2019 ESA, I think there might have been a winter 2020 as well, but there was like a break for like 2.5 years. So when summer 2022 came around, I made like a Discord server, I made a spreadsheet, and I basically was like, who's coming that play PlayStation games? Let's get as many people here as possible. And it worked. And I feel like people have been mingling with each other more than ever since that time. And every ESA, there's someone new coming from the scene. And the PlayStation Nation, I mean, our group photos are like 70, 80 people every time now. It's yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Well, that's a fun progression. Yeah, there's a lot of games to choose from those consoles, but it does sound like the majority come from the big ones. But
Mm-hmm.
seems they all
Yeah.
have their own unique reasons to be speedran.
Yeah, for sure.
So I guess more into your personal journey through the speedrun scene. I don't know quite where we left off, but
I'm yapping a bit.
yeah, it was pretty early on. Um, Obviously you went through the first part, like finding out about it, but I guess where did it go from there?
Yeah, so I think starting around 2012, like when I found SRL and I found I again when I found Jack 3 and like so I was bored in a math class one day and I was like I want to pick a new game to speedrun because I found the front page of SRL and I was like, wow, you can speedrun anything. That's crazy. So I thought of a game that I really liked from my youth and Jack 3 was one of them. So I just started kind of casually running it, and then there was somebody in my chat that came in and was like, "Hey man, I made this SDA run like a while ago. Like I have this. It wasn't on SDA, but it's like I made this segmented run a while ago. Like maybe you can apply some of my tactics in your run and stuff like that." So we got on a Skype call and we routed like we routed an any percent run like route together, which was cool like at the time, and I started doing runs of that, and I would stream my runs and all this stuff. And I remember the time when I thought this was actually like kind of a big deal was there was a time it was like a random Thursday in early 2013. I was doing the very first Jack and Daxter any percent trifecta run, which was like a Jack 1 any percent run, a Jack 2 any percent run, and Jack 3 any percent run. And it was only like 3 hours. Like it's no like massive like Omega Rareware 602 Mario Sprash Hundo trifecta. It was nothing like crazy. It was just 3 games back to back. I got like I remember the number exactly 685 viewers, no raids. I was top of SRL on that Thursday. It's the only time I've ever been at the #1 spot there. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, this streaming thing is kind of crazy. Like in my mind, I was like, wow, 600 is that's a lot of viewers, you know? And then of course I see like Siglemic, who's got like 6,000 to 8,000 daily, and then on pace it's like 14,000, 16,000. So I'm like, wow, this is like kind of blowing up. I wonder if like, you know, I could create a little following here. Maybe I should swap away from YouTube and start using Twitch instead. I wasn't thinking about making money or anything like that. I wasn't thinking about like, um, becoming famous or anything like that. But I was just like, I'm enjoying this more. So I swapped to Twitch, and YouTube kind of took a backseat, really. Um, and yeah, I don't know. Like I was 15, very young, and I was very captivated by the fact that you could just run just about anything. I mean, I stuck with Jack 3 for a long time because I really got that itch that when I beat my time and I felt that there was a big mistake in there, I could always improve it. Um, and then there would be a new competitor that would come around and beat my time, and then I'd have to defend my title and all this stuff. But I mean, throughout 2013, I picked up Kingdom Hearts 2 as well. I picked up Jack 2. I picked up Jack 1, and Spyro 2. I use that for racing as well. But also on Speedruns Live, I used to just race anything. I have races of Mega Man 1. I have Contra on there. I have Sly Cooper, which I like games I don't have. I didn't do runs of. I have random ass races of just stuff on there, and yeah, it was just a crazy world of like what's the next thing that's going to hook me in, like almost. And then all of a sudden people are speedrunning Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. I've never heard of this game before, but shit's got thousands of viewers. And then all of a sudden, like, I wake up and there's this guy that has like, he's doing Sunshine 120 Shine, and I'm like blown away, and it's like, wow, this is cool, maybe I should run Sunshine. Like, I'm getting inspired left and right and center from like all these different people. But as starting around 2015, 2016, like I would say like half of my friends left the scene. And it was almost natural that like, I would fade as well. Like, this is the end. That was a fun gold rush. SRL's kind of dying. Is this it really? And so there was a bit of a dark age where racing was dead and nobody was doing a whole lot. And tried my hand at full-time streaming in 2017. Realized that the like variety game sort of thing was just not really for me. I was very hardcore about speedrunning. You know, I think at a certain point you taste the record in a handful of games and you think you can do everything. So I basically strove for nothing but #1. Um, and yeah, I think that really started around like 2014 when I got like every Jack 3 category record. I every game I picked up from there on out, I wanted to be very very good, if not record level, and it was pretty obsessive, I would say. Um, there was a while. Well, actually, to back up a little bit, I would say when SRL was kind of falling out of favor, I would say in 2016, when Overwatch came out, I took about an 8-month break from speedrunning to try and pursue an Overwatch career, like professionally,
Hmm.
because I just thought speedrunning wasn't going to work at the time. There were so few people that were full time with it. It wasn't as common as it was today. The people that were full time with it either ran like Ocarina of Time 100% or like, and which is like the most popular game ever, most popular category that everyone's going to watch. So we're talking like Narcissa, Sig, ZFG, Trihex, and then a couple of like variety streamers like Fire Dragon or Caleb Hart or something like that were like doing it. Like those were the only people, you could count them on 2 hands, that were doing it around that time or something. So I tried to pursue something else, and I didn't. I enjoyed it for a while because I was really hooked on the game, but the community just wasn't as friendly, man. Like I missed speedrunning, so I came back in 2017, and dude, the arms were open, man. Everybody welcomed me back so much. It was clear everybody wanted me back so hard. And dude, that's why I stayed, because everyone was like, "Wow, dude, like, we're so glad you're back. Welcome back." And so in 2017, that was like my year, man. I went on a freaking tear. I started with Ratchet and Clank. I got top 3 in that. Went to Sly Cooper, ran that for the first time. I got the 100% record within 2 months. I ran this weird game that's called Dog's Life, which I ran at AGDQ as well. Snagged the any percent record there. Picked up God of War for the first time as well. Got the NG Plus record, which is the most competitive category in the game. Came back to Jack 3, got the all missions record. Like that year, man, I went on a spree in like a ton of different games. To this day, I think that's my best year in the game. And it continued into 2018, where I just played a lot of I picked up Ratchet and Clank, and I destroyed the record there as well, and a bunch of things. It's kind of hard to keep track of the amount of things I've ran, man, because I've had a very competitive career in a bunch of different games, which I'd like to think I'm pretty proud of, because there's usually two kinds of speedrunners. There's just like your hardcore, like I grind this one game and that's the thing I run, I'm known for, basically. Or there's like the variety side, and you're a top player, but you're not really like, because you're juggling so many games, it's kind of hard to like be good at all of them and stuff like that. And you're more streaming for the experience of being with people and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with either side. But I had a moment there where for a year or two where I actually managed to meet in the middle, which I thought was impossible. And I'm very proud of that, honestly. I'm quite happy with my achievements in the scene, really. Um, yeah, that's kind of where things have been. And well, I guess we'll halt it at like 2018, 2019 for now, because I'm yapping a bit.
I mean, that's fine. That's
Yeah,
the
okay,
point. The
okay.
point of the show is to yap. So you've been doing a
Fair.
great job. Because again, I'm not someone that has just like, oh, I have like 30 questions I gotta ask specifically. I just like learning the history of the guest's career through it, and
Yeah, cool.
man, there's a lot there.
Yeah, there is a lot. I've seen it all grow from the ground up, man. It was crazy. Just I've seen people come and go, and I've seen games be ruined by skips. I've seen games be revived. I've seen YouTubers save it. YouTubers kill a game. I've seen like everything, man. Like it's just been a roller coaster, man. But we're in a
But
good spot, man. 2025 is good so far.
yeah, yeah, I haven't been keeping up fully, but yeah, I mean, again, I stick to kind of my stuff that personally interests me when it comes to the whole thing. I not as knowledgeable. I try my best, but you know, it's hard to really find an interest in games that you don't have some sort of personal connection to. At
Oh, I
least
don't
for
feel
me.
that way at all.
Oh,
Yeah, I
really?
don't. Yeah, I think for 99% of people, it's like I watched this game because I grew up with it,
Mm-hmm.
dude. Like when I got into the SRL like space, um, it was like I was hooked on the idea of speedrunning. I was hooked on the concept, the community, the golds, the splits, the behind the head, the clutch factor, the chokes. Like I was hooked on the idea. It wasn't as much about the game, I would say. And I think a lot of that stems for I spoke briefly about this before the show, but dude, when I was like, again, this is like 2009 or whatever, but like I would be digging for emulators because I saw this Let's Play or whatever, and it's like I'm like, wow, I can really play N64 on my computer. I can play Super Nintendo. I can play PS1. Emulators were already out by like 2009, so I was like, I was downloading as many games as I could, and I was just every day I'd be cycling through a bunch of different games, just playing them for fun. And I had a Wii as well, and on my Wii I'd play NES games, Virtual Console games. I've played Mega Man 1 through 10, Paper Mario, um, bunch of old classics and stuff like that, Contra and Battletoads and stuff like that. Earthbound, I love Earthbound as well. It's just games that I saw somewhere when I was young. Like I would have an interest in it and give it a try and see what the fuss was all about. Um, and so when I was on SRL, I didn't care. Like one of my most watched streamers I remember was Enup, and he ran Majora's Mask. I've never played a Zelda game in my entire life, but I was hooked. The guy had so many viewers, and he was like a weird character at the time. He had a webcam on, but didn't talk. But his mic was on still, so you could hear sighs every now and then. It's like, oh, he talked. So it's like you get these like weird personalities in speedrunning that are just like it's like I was just hooked, man. Like I was in love with it. Like you can hear the passion, I guess, coming through my voice. But like obviously, I stuck to the PlayStation guys that I knew with. But like we were all so To transition from that, I think a lot of us in the PlayStation sphere were interested in other things too because we were so small. It's not like you could boot up a stream and it's like boom, there you got Jack and Daxter, somebody streaming Jack and Daxter. Like I'm looking through my following right now. I have 2 Spyro streamers, a Jack streamer, and a Crash Bandicoot streamer live right now that I could watch. I have like a menu in front of me. That did not exist back then. You had to watch something else. Mostly Nintendo stuff, some PC stuff when Dark Souls was getting big, some Half-Life and Quake and all that stuff. But for the most part, the big games at the time was Nintendo stuff. So we got used to it, and we watched a lot of Mario 64, and picked up like Mario Racing and whatnot, just because the scene wasn't as big, and it was kind of hard to build a scene among the PlayStation guys at the time. So we were often talking about all kinds of games at the time. So yeah, I think that part helped me be exposed to like different speed games too.
Mhm.
Um, and another thing as well, the PlayStation scene for speedrunning was very underdeveloped for quite a while because of GDQ. GDQ was like the big driving force to get new faces into the scene. The runs that were done at the early GDQs were either there weren't a lot of them or they were like pretty bad. So there was a 2013 run by a Ratchet and Clank runner who kind of had no idea what he was doing, and he wasn't really like in the scene, and there were already better runners at the time that existed. He just kind of submitted it and had been around on SDA for a long time. So his run didn't like draw any new faces in. And then Ratchet didn't see another good run until like 3 years later. The only one doing stuff for Jack and Daxter was Bonesaw, which was pretty good, but at the time didn't really like get new people into the scene. Sly Cooper was like nowhere to be found, and then you'd get an occasional good Crash and Spyro run here and there. But it was very underrepresented, and they weren't put in primetime slots. And a lot of the other big, like, it was just the fact that it was overshadowed by a lot of other things. It really wasn't until 2016 when things really changed, I think. There was a block at AGDQ 2016 where it was I did a race of Jack 3 no oop with another runner, Hillary Puff, followed by Zem doing Ratchet and Clank 3, followed by Kane doing Crash Bandicoot 100%, and Chris LBC doing Spyro 80%, all 4 in a row
Wow.
at a prime time slot. That actually grew the scene quite a bit, I'd like to think. So for a while, I mean, also at ESA there weren't like a whole lot either, I would say, but there was a bit more than GDQ, but ESA wasn't as big as GDQ. So for a while, I think people just had no idea people were running old PlayStation or Nintendo classics and stuff like that. So Nintendo was seeing a lot more, was more in the spotlight, which makes sense because there was more history there and the games were older. Like PlayStation started in the 90s, whereas like Super Nintendo and NES was like before that, and so people would use SDA to discuss those older games already. Uh, so obviously there's no like bitterness or anything like that. It's just the way things happened and stuff like that. And I really only think we got those GDQ runs, but I would really say the like things started happening with COVID. Once COVID happened, there was YouTube videos being created about PlayStation speedrunning for the first time by like Hummeldon, Saiyans, myself, other people that were making stuff about PlayStation games. And that's where it's really blown up, and we've kind of kept that ball rolling for a while, I would say, ever since. And people are growing older, and people realize that like, hey, I might not be running anymore, but like I'll be around the community, like I'm still down to hang out and be here and stuff like that. So the community is still large, even if you don't always see it in the player base.
Mhm. Yeah, it's nice with the growth of speedrunning that all the like individual smaller communities can all have a chance to grow with that because just
Yeah, flourish.
the more people you have, the more interests they'll have and can get spread around a little more. So I don't
Exactly.
think
Yeah.
any community is gonna be losing their existence anytime soon, especially not in this day and age. So
Which is awesome.
yep, good to hear because yeah, there's so much out there. It's nice that we can all enjoy the same niche no matter what the game is, of which there are many.
Exactly. I mean, there's millions of accounts on speedrun.com now, I think, or maybe like over a
Million?
quarter million. I think there's like a quarter million individual runs submitted or individual users. I forget what it is. It's a lot. I think it's individual users. Speedrun.com used to have a lot more stats, but they removed some of them, so
Yeah.
don't really
Oh well.
don't really know anymore.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because what, I've been around since 2017, so I can only speak from like that, which is still a lot of change, but
I speedrun for 3 years without there being a leaderboard, man. We used to use
that
Google Docs style leaderboards, bro. We were in the mines.
yeah, see, I don't have that. Like I just wasn't there, so I guess
Yeah.
I was a little lucky. Although people that come in now just have everything they could ever possibly need or want, which is good.
Yeah. You get a bit of both, I would say. There's people that like me that, where it's like, man, I wish I started today, dude. There's all these practice tools and I could get so much better so quickly or this or that. And then there's people that come in the last 4 years and they're like, dude, I missed so much history, man. Like I wish I joined
Hmm.
sooner. They're like, I knew it existed, man. I should have just joined and all this stuff. So you get a bit of both, I would say. I'm happy I joined when I did. I'm glad I got to see as much as I did because without it, I wouldn't be able to make my YouTube channel. Really, like frankly, I could, but having been there with the experience that I have makes my YouTube channel just that bit more authentic, I think.
Hmm. Yeah, I can't speak for people that knew about it but just didn't join. Like I joined when I found out,
Hmm.
which I do wish I could have seen more because I thought with the way I did things, maybe I could have competed a little earlier, but yeah,
It's
no
always gonna
idea
feel like that.
at all. And then you watch one summoning salt video, and then all of a sudden you know everything, and
I know
you're in.
exactly. Or you think you know everything, but you really only know like a smidge.
Yes, true.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, 2017 is still like, there's probably someone watching a speedrun documentary right now and they're just like, man, I should get into this thing. And then they do. And then they're like, I wish I joined in 2017. So you're ahead of
Mm-hmm.
someone out there. That's always how it is. It's always
Yep.
a new generation.
Yep. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter as long as you're here, right? So,
Yeah, exactly.
all right. Well, I guess can continue on the timeline. I don't have anything specific to go off of, so.
I can keep going from 2019. Yeah. Okay, so 2019 was a pretty rough year for me. I had a lot of internal battles with, do I keep speedrunning? Like, where am I going in life? It's just living with my mom, being like 22 or whatever, 2021. Not really sure what to do. I finished high school, the equivalent of high school here in Denmark. I'm not from the US.
Mhm.
Um, and it's just like, I don't know. It's just kind of, I was just speedrunning at my place, and I'm just like, I don't really know what I want to do with my life or anything like that. Little do I know it's right in front of me. Like, I want to do this thing, but it's like, there's just doesn't seem like there's a viable path
Yeah,
almost.
doesn't sound sustainable.
Yeah. So, but I remembered, so I've been to three GDQs, 16, 18, and 19. And when I was at 18 or 19, I forget who or which one it was, but I was out just grabbing lunch with Easyscape and one of his friends. And I remember him just telling me how like YouTube was like the future. And there's a big future in it. And I think, he told me like, I think you could do great on it, man. And in my mind, I'm thinking that he's bragging. I'm thinking that he's coming off like, oh, look at all this money I'm making, look at all these views I'm making. Because I came from a very like shelled. This is something a lot of people don't know about the early speedrunning scene on SRL. People were very against money coming into the scene whatsoever.
Mhm.
If you were taking donations whatsoever, you were called a sellout basically immediately, and people would ridicule you on Reddit or 4chan or something like that. Like it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. You could not take donations or like let alone like Sig and Narcissa had a sub button. That was the extent. There was nothing
Mhm.
else really. Um, you could not do anything. And there was like a group of people. I remember they were called the Wobblers, and then there was like a smaller group called the Wigglers, which all of them were trying to be more variety based, and they were in like a small group. There was like 8 in the Wobblers and 8 in the Wigglers, and I remember it being um, like it's like 360 Chrism or Big John or Fire Dragon or something like that, and they would actually display donations on the stream, and they would just go against the grain and say, "We're gonna make this feat like viable. We're gonna pave the way for," because CS:GO streamers and stuff like that were on Twitch taking donations and
Hmm.
showcasing it on putting it on their streams. Like, thank you, Heather, for the $20 donation. It would be like this scrolling bar. It's like that was so taboo back then.
Hmm.
So back then, so fast forwarding to Easyscape again, I'm sitting there like, I come from an era where you're not supposed to like show off your money whatsoever in the scene, or like it's just in my mind, it's like you're not supposed to make it from
Hmm.
speedrunning. It's just not possible. Like, and if you do, it's morally incorrect, right? So I had to rewire myself, rewire my brain and say, which by the way is finally like it's taken a while, but I want to say as I'm finally there, but there's still like lingering thoughts of like, dude, I struggle to title my YouTube thumbnails or my YouTube title a certain way, or make things a certain way, just because that's where I came from and that's how I grew up. It's just that I was afraid of being ridiculed by being like a sellout almost. So when I heard Easyscape talk about this, I thought he was bragging and all this stuff. But really, what he was trying to tell me was that like, hey, dude, what I'm making right here is a living. Like, you can do this. This is possible. And at the time, I didn't make YouTube videos. I was just a speedrunner. Like, I just streamed my attempts. That's all I did. I didn't think outside the box or anything like that. So I discarded his message. This must have been in 2018 or something like that. And at the time, the popular stuff was like drama videos, top 10 videos,
Hmm.
whatever. And that basically changed with Salt, more or less. And when Salt, I mean, Easyscape was doing good documentaries before Salt. Salt wasn't like the first to do it, but Salt was the first one to get like mainstream attention on it. And I was thinking to myself, like, okay, we got a game here. I'm gonna try and make some YouTube documentaries, see what sticks. And I'm standing there thinking like, not to toot my own horn, but I was like, man, no, literally nobody has the experience that I have with PlayStation speedrunning. The only way you're going to know more than me is by doing a crap ton of research. And even then, you weren't there. Like, there physically was nobody in the scene at the time that followed as many games as me or was around for as long as me. So I was like, I have so many stories to tell. And I start going off. I start with Jack and Daxter, and I make like a couple small scripted videos. My first video is like six minutes, get some good views. Next video is 10 minutes long, get some great views, got like 6 digits.
Hmm.
Next video is 18 minutes, get some more views. And when I was making this video, is pretty funny. I was like 2019 was pretty tough for me, so going into the new year, into 2020, I moved to the UK with somebody I'd known in the speedrunning scene for a while. I was just meant to be there for like 3 months, just get a reset, see a new part of the world, and just live together with somebody my age instead of my mom for a while. And then COVID happened, and I had another friend in the UK who was like, "Dude, I'm not going to school anymore. You can have my laptop if you want. Like, if you want to make videos on it, you can just use it." And so he just gave me his laptop for the time being. And that laptop, I still credit that guy in all of my videos to this day. That laptop started my whole career. It wasn't very good, but I made The Man Who Broke Spyro in Half on it, my first video to really hit the YouTube algorithm. It was insane, man. When I saw the views that thing got, I was like, this is it. Like, I could do this. And so I've kept doing it. I've kept making videos ever since. The only problem was that I still wanted to speedrun. So I was like making a video, then I go back to speedrunning and like I really grind, I get the record and I burn out like a flat tire, then I make another video and I'm like, okay, I want to speedrun again. So I'm like juggling constantly trying to like make a video and getting records in like 4 different games. It's like a lot of work, a lot of practice that I had to do offline and all this stuff. And it's just like, yeah, it was mental. And I still struggle with that. I still juggle the same thing. But yeah, no, my channel really blew up with this video called "The Man Who Broke God of War in Half." It was just like an ongoing series that I made, and I mean that video has 7 million views now,
Oh
which
my
is
god.
insane. Like that's insanity. It's one of the most viewed speedrun videos out there, I think. Like, pretty crazy. Um, and that put my channel above 100,000 subs, and I'm almost at 200,000 now, so it's pretty nice. And I decided in somewhere in 2022 that I was gonna make the world record history of Jak 3, and I was going to make it extremely extensive, and I was going to make it 9 parts, and I was ready for it to take a year. It took 2.5 years, and I finally finished literally like a week or two ago from this interview.
Mhm.
Um, it sounds morbid here, but like I'm ready to like die. Like I'm
What?
like that project is being over is like I can rest peacefully now. Like obviously I have new projects I want to do. I have new things to do, but it's like that's like my magnum opus. I don't think I'm going to spend as long on any video series as that one. It's like 2.5 years in the making, just working on one series. That's my magnum opus. So I feel super like complete with my life almost. It feels great. Obviously, I'm gonna keep going. Like I can't wait to make new videos. But sorry, that metaphor was like really shocking. But like I just wanted to like metaphorize or like really state that like my life feels like complete almost. Because it's like that's where I started with speedrunning. Like my whole life had led up to that moment. Started speedrunning Jak 3, saw everything, and now told the story in its entirety. And that feels crazy, man. It's the longest speedrunning documentary on YouTube. It's 6.5 hours. Next weekend, I'm gonna be uploading all 9 parts into one big video that I called the Supercut.
Mhm.
And it's not gonna get a lot of views. It's not a super popular game, but the point is that I told the community story and I did them proud, and that's something that from the community will watch 20 years down the line, and remember the good times and all that. That's my big thing is, going back to that whole money thing is like, I don't do everything for money. I do it for the community and the love for my game and my community because they welcomed me so much. Like speedrunning was so welcoming when I joined, and it's only gotten more accepting and more caring for other people, and it's very compassionate. So it only felt right that like, I have to do this basically.
Mhm.
So that's where we're at today. Got a big YouTube channel, got a big Twitch channel, lots of people that seem to love and support me, and I'm gonna keep going, man, into my 30s.
Cool. Well, I have not seen the video yet, although I'm enticed to watch it now, especially the supercut. And I will say, supercuts actually can do pretty well. The good example is, I'm sure you've heard of Bismuth's
A
8 button
button
challenge
challenge.
history. The
Yep.
supercut, whew, that
Yeah.
that went crazy. So you
Yeah.
never know. And that was
It's
like what, 5 hours?
That's like 5.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bismuth actually told me, he was like, "Congratulations on making the longest speedrunning history now." And he was like, "I'm not sure if I had the longest one to begin with, and I've now found the world record progression of the longest speedrun YouTube videos now. It starts at probably some speed lore from Goose or something, and then it's probably Bismuth's video, and then there was a Metroid Prime video that was called A Brief History of Any Percent that was like 6 hours 9 minutes.
Uh-huh.
um great name for the video, by the way. And
Mm-hmm.
then my video, which is like it's 6:39, which I've not uploaded yet, but it will be out soon.
Well,
So yeah, 6:39.
incoming world record.
Incoming slow run, actually.
Oh, yeah, true. Well, still world
Yeah.
record, just world record for the slowest.
High score.
High score.
High score record.
Need a leaderboard for
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
I know there's like, well, I don't know if I should say this publicly, but I know there's a place where there's YouTube speedrun content creators have a little leaderboard in there.
Hmm.
An idea for you.
That's an idea.
I'm
Make a
not
little
saying it's a good
spreadsheet.
idea, it's just funny.
Yeah. That was funny. I thought it's funny because I thought you referred to, I don't know if I should be saying this publicly, but I thought you were referring to the fact that there actually exists a speedrunning like YouTube or Discord
Yeah,
that I
that's
made.
oh, you made it. Okay. Well,
Yes,
that
I'm
is
the
what I'm
owner of that
referencing.
Discord.
Okay.
Yes,
Well,
I made that Discord because again, I'm very community oriented, man. Like I thought I was very introverted for quite a while because that's what you do when you're a fucking speedrunner. But I'm
mhm.
actually quite outgoing, and I really like the community aspect. I'm pretty extroverted now, so I was just so, like I'm like, why are we all scattered like competing against each other? Let's elevate the scene together. Let's like learn from each other, give each other like more uh ideas on thumbnails and titles, and just like you know spitball and talk about editing, talk about ideas that we're working on. Let's support each other. Let's watch each other's videos and say what we do good. Like, and I feel like that's elevated the speedrunning YouTube game quite a lot. Like speedrun documentaries are as good as they are because of so many people trying it out and pushing each other and learning from each other and all that stuff. So that's where I want it to come from. Like I wasn't like I'm not in it to like selfishly like be better than someone else and keep the tricks for myself or whatever. Like I love speedrunning too much for that. Like I want to elevate everything together in that sense. So however much you would thus decide to engage with that or use the tools that are in that Discord, like that's up to you. The only reason I'm saying I shouldn't be saying this publicly is like I'm not inviting anybody. Like you have to be making scripted
Mm-hmm.
YouTube video documentaries to like join that. It's not like it's like, "Oh, I make highlight videos." Like, I clip together things. It's
Yeah, I didn't
like
mean to
we're looking
leak
for
it, but I
No,
also
yeah,
didn't
it's
know
okay.
you made it.
Yeah, no, it's funny. Yeah, no, I did make it. Um there was actually a Discord for like general speedrun documentary stuff before this, but it was like very focused on like the old type of speedrun like creation. Like again in 2016 and 2010, the only types of videos was drama
Hmm.
and top 10 videos and like cringe compilations basically.
Uh,
So which I'm glad we're
highlights. Yeah,
like
highlight
okay.
fails, cringe. Yeah,
Do you came in around 2017?
I
So do you
did.
remember that period?
Oh yes.
Like
Um,
yeah,
I remember. What was it? Glad Jonas and speedrun fails. Those were like the big ones.
dude,
Yeah,
yeah, glad Jonas, man. I'm sorry, but I cannot with
yeah.
those videos. It's not my thing. It's just not my thing. Um,
Well,
make whatever you want, but yeah, it's not quite my thing. And I wanted to make a Discord that was focused on like let's elevate the scene by like talking about how cool it is and like putting effort into it, basically.
yeah, but yeah, I do remember that era because yeah. Well, first of all, the summoning salt video is what introduced me to speedrunning at all. So shout out to YouTube algorithm. Let's
Sweet.
go. But
That's good. That's good.
yeah, that was a lot
I
of the content that kind of got popular that wasn't, summoning salt, easy escape, etc. Um, and I remember it because when I was like just starting, I was reached out by one of them to use a clip of mine, and I was like, someone wants my clip. That's kind of cool. It's me failing, but it is kind of funny, so it's like I don't
Yeah.
care. But yeah, opinions have changed a little bit, and those don't really do well anymore. Although there
Yeah.
are some like highlight videos that do all the good, the bad, the funny, everything, and those are fun. Like those are just fun videos, so I have nothing against them.
Yeah, I think that's totally fine, but you can tell it's definitely not a formula that's like that was meant to like stay, I guess, in a
Hmm.
way.
And no
Um
one's doing it for like, well, I don't know how they did it back in the day. The compilation videos I know today are more like, I love the community. Here's like community highlights type deal.
yeah, and
So
I feel like that's generally the consensus, but I feel like for a while it was maybe with like I don't know, it's like I guess it upsets me because I care so much about the scene. And so if somebody like um comes around and gives our scene like a false like you get the wrong idea, I guess, of like who we are. It's like if you only are fed like fail compilation and cringe compilations or something like that,
more
people will just
drama
assume
or
yeah,
cheating or
yeah, yeah,
not
yeah,
trying to get
exactly.
into. Speaking of drama, but anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, yeah, we can wrap this up, but it's just like yeah, I just you know, I
Mhm.
I try to steer clear of that stuff. I just want to show how cool people are and showcase the legit runners and just people that have cool stories, which that's also a huge thing with my videos. I don't actually I mean I focus on the game, of course I do. I talk about strats and glitches and stuff, but I don't make videos about games I like because it's a cool game. I make videos about games that have a cool runner a lot of the time or like a cool personality or something like that. I can't work with like if all the runners are like no mic, like I can't work with it. It's just
Mhm.
I don't pick it as a topic a lot of the time.
Yeah, I was no Mike for a while, so
I mean
I
I mean I didn't know Mike too, but it's you know,
I
and
I
that's okay. You got to get the record, get the bag, dude. You know.
yeah, but I probably, let's see, both times I've been in a summoning salt video, the warpless and the minus world
Warp-
ending.
yeah,
Both
warpless
of
minus
those
one.
records that were talked about, I didn't have mic, so I just feel bad. It's just
Yeah.
here's the end of my last 5 seconds of my gameplay.
Right, but didn't you
Oops.
right, but like minus world, like I don't know. I totally can see you just like, yeah, I've got like an hour to waste. I'm just gonna do some minus world real quick, and then just like boot up the console and just like record. You're not really streaming or something like that, you know? Isn't it like at least that's how
Mm,
the early history was with that
I
because it wasn't like
guess. I mean,
overly serious at the time.
yeah, the minus world ending was interesting. Um, I mean, he made a cool story out of it because it's like the closest to perfection. It's closer to perfection than any percent, and
Yeah,
people don't really know about it, so they're like, oh, there's this whole other like little category. That's fun. But
yeah,
yeah, no one's ever treated it all too seriously. It was just kind of I'm bored. Let's do this. It's a main category. It's unique. It has a lot of the same tricks, so you can still use what you're good at for it. It's fun.
hmm
But yeah, I never really took it all too seriously. But it's still fun to be, I guess, part of it. But that wasn't why I was like no mic'd. I just wasn't mic'd for years because I think part of it was anxiety driven. But clearly,
yeah,
I've gotten
and that
over that a little bit.
yeah, I think 114 episodes in, I think that's changed a bit.
Yeah. So, but
Or
yeah,
however
the
this is.
2019 through 2021, or no, I don't know when I stopped, but part of it, especially 2019, was when I did a lot of that early 2020. And I was in college in a dorm with thin walls, so that that was also part of it. But
Yeah,
you
that
know,
makes sense.
it still took a while to get out of that, even when I was back in an environment where I could actually talk, and then it took even longer to have a camera. Yeah, but we got there.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame anybody for like not having a camera or a microphone. It's just personally for me, I just like I don't know. I didn't really struggle too much with that. Like I had a webcam on like basically immediately and a mic just because I don't know. I just never really had the like I just never went through that phase of like having a bunch of anxiety about it, I guess. I
Everyone's
was used to
different, yeah.
talk. Yeah, everyone's different, but it's just for me personally, like I really need like a cool. It's like why I would watch sports as well. It's like I'm not, you know, people watch sports to watch the game, but it's the storylines. It's to watch the team beat the team,
Hmm.
and to watch the main character of this team beat the other, you know, beat the rivals on this team, or something. That's like a huge part of it, and that's I want to create that for speedrunning too. So I find the people involved very important, and my Jack series is all about that, really. Like, you know, because I've known the people for so long that, and I've visited them many times in many different places. Like, I've been to like the frozen tundras of Finland on a ski trip with other Jack runners, or I've been to like, you know, like the beaches of California with other Jack runners. It's like I've been all around the world to meet different Jack runners and just to hang out and see different parts of the world. Like I'm very social like that. I guess it's very interesting.
Hmm.
I pretty much never talk about code in any of my videos. I never talk about code. I keep the tricks on a very basic fundamental level. If it involves talking about code, I don't talk about it. And that's very different from other people. So if you take someone's like Bismuth's channel, it's super tech heavy, and I still love his videos. I love watching it, and I love how in depth he goes on it. It's just not what I'm good at or what I can understand to a super good degree, nor does it interest me that much. So I take a whole different approach.
Hmm.
Basically, like I like the people, whereas I think he likes the intricacies and the understanding of it, which is just like it's just cool how there's different audiences for both of that. You know, I think that's really cool.
Hmm. Yeah, it's cool that there's so many speedrun content creators now, but they all have a unique reason to exist. And there's
Everyone's found their own style
hmm
almost,
and
you
it's
know?
like impossible to, not be able to find your own way through the scene. Like anyone can pick it up, I think, which is also cool
Mhm.
because that just means more content for everyone.
Exactly.
Positives all around. And yeah, it's cool that you can, highlight people that deserve it, I think. Definitely need more of that,
Sure.
and I feel like that's what a lot of people that I at least I care about in the scene are doing. So always good to see. But yeah, I guess that's all I got for that. Obviously, you're the one with the knowledge. I'm just the one leaking stuff apparently. But
No, it's all good. Like if there's anything you want to know, man, like I've been around,
yeah.
doesn't have to be just PlayStation. Like I've been around the YouTube block too. I remember some old Nintendo runs, big marathon runs and stuff like that. I wasn't around at the early GDQs. I think that's like the one thing I kind of regret was not going to like AGDQ 13, 14, or 15 because there was lots of runners I never got to see.
Mm.
But I was frankly just too young at that time.
Oh yeah.
2013, I must have been 16. So
C-
there
You
was
would
no way.
need like a pair. Well, I don't. This is early days. I don't know how the rules went, but
I
yeah,
would have
that's
needed a parent, yeah,
yeah.
I
Okay, they
think.
still did have that. Okay.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'd be allowed to travel overseas, um,
Oh. Hmm.
like without at 16 or whatever. I
Mm-hmm.
did go at 19. Like when I turned 19, I went to America. But yeah,
Hmm.
that was cool.
Well, since we're briefly touching about it, we can go through the whole like marathon kind of history with you in marathons. So,
Mhm.
guess we're starting at the start here. What was the very first one?
So the first one was ESA 2013. For those who
Oh,
don't
ESA's
know,
been around that long. I didn't know that.
their first event was in 2011.
Oh, wow.
No, 2012. 2012. I know because that's the only one I missed.
Interesting.
Um, ESA started in 2012. Yes, it was created by a bunch of retro NES speedrunners from Sweden. Kind of right around Gothenburg and like you know uh, like Skövde and Växjö and stuff like that, middle of Sweden, stuff like that. So some old school runners probably. I don't know if you'll know the name of them, but it's like there was Svenna, there was Freddie Anderson, there was Edenol, and some of these older guys. There was Caught Power, I think, as well. Kind of a part of this cool kid. Most of them were Swedes. Um,
I think I knew all of those
Freddie and
names.
yeah, okay, okay, sick.
Well,
Yeah, I was gonna say you should at least know Freddie Anderson.
yes. Well,
Um,
you said
or
Sven, right?
Crazy Man.
Well, I say
Yeah, yeah, Sven.
Sweden is I know, right? He used that tag for a
Yeah,
while.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
Sweden.
Yes, exactly. His name's just Sweden. That's just funny.
Yeah, but
Um,
yeah. I mean, he was a 2D Mario runner. Like, if there was a like pretty
he
active
ran
2D
2D
Mario
Mario.
runner at any point, I know who they are. So
Yeah, exactly. And
he's
I
been in my
think
chat
you
quite a bit actually. So
he was the organizer of ESA 2012 and 13 actually. Like he
oh,
was
okay.
the head of that. Yeah. And yeah, so I did not go to 2012, but one of my friends, my first SRL race was in March of 2012, and the first DSA was in like June or July. So I'd been in the scene for like a few months. I didn't even know it was happening in 2012. But my friend Cypress, who was the guy I ended up actually living with in the UK for a while, was like, dude, check out my Spyro 2 100% run at ESA. And I like tune in. I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. Like he's like there live playing it like on a couch and everything. And I was just like watching the run and I didn't think much of it. I thought it was pretty cool. And then I watched AGDQ 2013. The like half a year goes by, I watch AGDQ 2013. I'm mind blown, dude. I am literally I'm begging my mom to that I can stay awake for like the next run. I'm hooked. I'm watching it constantly. It was an incredible time
And
watching
that's a
AGDQ
week. So
2013. Yeah, I watched for like a whole week straight. Like, like
wow.
I would just I mean, I'd be going to school and all that stuff, but the moment I get home, I'd open that stuff. And dude, AGDQ 2013 was literally such a special event. Same with 14 that people stopped streaming for the week to watch it. Like
Mm.
that's not like that it's not like that at all today. GDQ streams and the world moves on. Like everybody streams their own thing. But back then, man, people stopped streaming to watch um like sometimes people would be like you'd see every now and then people would be like doing a quick 16-star race parentheses go watch GDQ
Hmm.
or something like that, like, and you wouldn't see me stream for a week, my friends wouldn't stream for a week because we'd just be watching that thing the whole time.
Wow.
It was just so special. And I was like, wow, that is crazy. And then I'm like, I should probably try to go to ESA next, like, because I can't go to America, but I could go to Sweden. That sounds doable. And so I submit Crash Bandicoot 2, Jack 2, and Jack 3, and they all get in.
Oh my god.
And so I don't think my Crash 2 run is lost to time, but it was for a while. I think somebody had a backup. The Crash 2 run, the race was really funny. It was the first marathon run I'd ever done. I died 3 times in the first level from a really rare glitch, and it happened 3 times in a row.
Hmm.
Kind of insane. I cannot believe it happened. I fell through like a seam 3 times. And that put me behind the race the whole time. It went awful. I did okay the rest of the run, but it was just funny. I was behind the whole time. Jack 2 was a little bit tough. That's just known as a really hard game in general. But the Jack 3 run, I did very well on. All things considered, it was a little sloppy. You know, I was 15, 16. I wasn't very old, and I was very nervous. I remember, like, the feeling was crazy. Like, I was nervous, and I felt like really hungry, but I didn't want to eat. I was nervous. Like I just didn't know what like food would do to me. Like, under this state, so I was like, I'm just not gonna eat. And so I did my run, and it went good. And I don't know. Yeah, like rest is history, kind of. Um, I did Jack 2 and 3 again at ESA 2014. The 14 run was phenomenal. Jack 2 again was a little it's a tough game, so it makes sense. And then at 15, I'm gonna just, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna go ahead and read the whole
Go
list.
ahead.
I have 25 marathon runs.
Oh my god.
Uh, so or something along those lines. So yeah, it was Crash 2, Jack 2, and Jack 3 at ESA 2013. Jack 2 and Jack 3, ESA 2014. ESA 2015 was Jack 3 and Ratchet and Clank 3. The Ratchet 3 run was like a stand-in because they needed space. Then I went to AGDQ for the first time, and I raced Jack 3 again. I did a Jack 2 four-way race at ESA 2016. I did Ratchet and Clank at ESA 2016. 2017, Ratchet 3. Went to AGDQ 2018, did Ratchet and Clank and Dog's Life for the Awful Block, which was fun. Jack 3 at AGDQ 2019. Perfect Dark, an N64 game that I play at ESA 19. Then there was COVID. Then I did an online Jack 3 run. Slide 2 at ESA Winter 22. Jack 3 ESA Summer 22. And then I start doing a bunch of different stuff from here on out. So at this point, I'm kind of done. Like, I've showcased a lot of the things I wanted to show, all the categories I wanted to show. So I'm like, let's do something more fun. So here at Summer 22, ESA Summer 22, I do an iToy run. And iToy is like, it's like a webcam for
Yep.
your PS2, and you can play a bunch of mini games on it. And it's low key my best marathon showcase, even though like I did only a sixth of it. We showcased 6 mini games, and like 4 of the people like barely win. They like barely scrape through it. They're so close to dying, and it's just magically they all like lived. Like it was wonderful. Then for Awful Block, I did a Smarties game, a Smarties PS2 game, super fun. At ESA Winter 23, I did Jack 3, The Journey Back Gold Edition, a really terrible Flash game. Um, ESA Winter. Oh, I didn't write God of War on here. I did God of War in 2018, and that has 2 million views, which is crazy.
Oh.
I did Mega Man X4 in ESA Winter 2024, which is like my best marathon showcase in terms of skill. I was 6 seconds off my PB, and that run also has like 1 million views. And I would go on to get the record in that game in the coming time. And I still have it, actually. Yippee! When you're a YouTuber, dude, if you get to keep something for more than 3 weeks, it's a W. I've kept this thing for a year almost,
Damn.
so kind of cool. I did a PS1 demo disc that I grew up with, like you know how you can get those like Pizza Hut PS1 demo discs or whatever. I did a speed run of like all the games on that thing, so it's just like I'm just experimenting with like different fun stuff. I hosted a Flash game gauntlet at ESA Summer 24, which is just like we take a bunch of Flash games and we see how many of them we can beat in like an hour and 20 minutes. So it's really cool as well. And finally, I've done a couple Finn runs as well. So just I've done Jack 3 and Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories and Mega Man X4 as well. I also did there as well. So I've done quite a lot. I'm looking at the list and I can see I've missed at least 5 runs. So it's quite a lot. It's a long list, but yeah, that's everything I've done.
That is a lot.
It is a lot, yeah.
Wow.
I've never been rejected from a marathon before. Pretty cool.
Oh.
Well, my like I've submitted like 4 games, but I've never like gone to a marathon without having a run in it. If that makes sense.
So if you've ever submitted to an event, you've gotten into that event.
Yes, every time. No, without fail. Yeah.
Lucky son of a bitch.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah, no, it's
Wow.
crazy. I mean, I think if I submitted to GDQ these days, it would maybe be kind of hard.
Yeah, there's a
Um,
lot of submissions now. I've gotten pretty lucky recently, but who knows how long that'll last, right?
yeah, no, it's tough. But also, it's not as hard for the PlayStation guys because there's not as many submissions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Overall, you just got to keep it realistic. I think that's the big thing. Every time I've submitted, I don't go into it with the idea of what do I want to run. I go into it with the idea of like what do people want to see. Well, obviously I think about like what do I want to run, but it's like I keep it realistic and just it's like if I can see like it's like I don't submit Jack 3 100% before people have seen an any percent run because like any percent back in the day was like 40 minutes, perfect length, and 100% would be like 5 hours. It's like obviously you pick the any percent run, as a marathon organizer in that sense. So it's like I only submit if I know that it actually has a chance of getting in. If I feel like it has absolutely zero chance, I don't submit basically. Or if like the game has already been showcased like last year, then I don't submit that either because it's like, well, like I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just yeah, I don't know. I think that's what's helped, I think.
Oh,
Man, I'm thinking of even more that's it doesn't matter. I have more games. There's more games I forgot. But yeah, no.
all right. Well, I did have some questions about early ESA. Like, how
Mhm.
large was it, and how many views did it get in comparison to GDQ?
So let's start with 2013. The people attending, I want to say there was 80 to 100. It wasn't that many. I wish I could show you a
That's
photo
still
right
quite a
now.
bit for back then.
Um,
I mean,
yeah,
GDQs back then were what, getting maybe 200 max?
I'm not really sure how many because I didn't go to them, but like when I
Yeah.
was at 2016, I want to say there was like 400
Mm.
already.
Wow.
Um, I'm not
Okay.
sure if you can show these at all, but like this
Yeah,
is
I won't be able to show anything on the stream, but if you can like
okay, that's all
link,
good.
yeah.
But yeah, there you go. There's some photos right there from ESA 2013. You can actually in the third photo you can see that like we were outside of a youth center. The building on the left was just that's where the stream was being held, and there was just like a youth center, and it was kind of cool, and the weather was great at the time. And yeah, I would say maybe like 80 to 100 people. So I got to know a bunch of different people, like because there weren't so many that like you would be bumping into the same kind of people at this all the time,
Hmm.
something like that. So it was yeah, it was great. Viewership wise, the highest viewed run, I remember this because I actually remember my Jack 3 run was the second highest viewed run. It had 9,000 live viewers, which was the second highest at the marathon, which got demolished by the number one game, which was GTA San Andreas.
Yes.
And the runner was Joshimus in 2013. The,
Yes.
the run was 6.5 hours long, and people were just there to watch the long run. And Joshimus was kind of up and coming in the scene, and people were
Hmm.
uh, just I think it was 14,000, 12,000 to 14,000 viewers
Holy.
consecutively throughout the run. Yeah. And that's funny because ESA has kind of not really managed. I mean, GDQ is also like declining in viewers, but yeah, ESA's not really managed to hit the same peak, I would say, since I think these days ESA gets like 3,000 to 5,000 viewers maybe. But for a long time ESA was completely stagnant at between 6 to 10,000, I think for a while. Like every ESA would is I'd say usually it's about 7 or 8 from like 2015 to like up to COVID. It was always like around 8,000 viewers, I would say, for ESA.
Hmm.
So not as big as GDQ, for sure. But I think a large reason is because just GDQ did it first. Like GDQ was the first to kind of rake in that notoriety, and also there's a language barrier too. So it's like you'll have some runners coming up that won't be able to speak English super well, and so the commentary is kind of lackluster, and maybe the games are kind of like there's not as many game submissions, so it's not like you can pick like you can build your own gold mine almost of just like banger runs upon banger runs. So sometimes you'll have to put in something just to fill in, if that makes sense. Um, but yeah, I mean, I still loved early ESA. The vibes were great. ESA these days is very, very focused on the event space itself and like having a good time and being an enjoyable place to be. The venue is unbeatable in terms of location. It is quite literally perfect. There's a like gigantic mall at a 2 minutes walk away from the hotel. There are restaurants and food and everything you could want like nearby. There's a train station 1 minute away, so you can go to Copenhagen, the capital of Denmark, for a 15-minute train ride, and you can explore that city if you want. You can take the train into Malmo City Central. There's stuff to do where you're at, and the hotel venue. I mean, it's phenomenal, man. It's super good. It's been the same venue for 7 years, and I don't see them changing in
Hmm.
the foreseeable future. It's perfect, frankly.
No.
We've come a long way. I can do a brief history of the other venues. 2012 to 2014 was the youth center that you see in that photo. It was pretty good actually for the time. It was decently spacious. 2015 was the same city. It was in Skövde, but it was in a ballroom, usually used for um, like weddings, where like that's like where like once your wedding's over, like you go there and you eat you eat with your family and extended family and all that stuff. So we had like a massive ballroom that was decent too, but it was loud. There weren't like secluded rooms. 2016 and 2017 where like we were looking for a venue for a while, and there was a venue that popped up in Växjö, which is where Edenol, who's now the current organizer, still was at that time. Like he was the organizer. He rented out a big hockey rink. So we were in the center of the hockey rink, with like the seats all around us just empty. Like it was just kind of funny. We were just occupying the center space. And then in 2018, we got the Quality Hotel View in Malmö, which is south of um in the very south part of Sweden. So like if you're traveling internationally, you fly into Copenhagen, you take a 15-minute train and you're there. It's sick.
Hmm.
It's luxury. It's easy
Yeah.
to get to.
Sounds fun. I don't see me ever being able to get out there or anything, but
No, why not?
oh, just this thing called being broke.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair.
And
True.
also, I still, even with my broke ass, I still managed to go to every GDQ. So,
That's sick. I mean, dude, I want to come back to GDQ for sure. It's been a minute. Yeah, I want to come back for sure.
what was your last one in person?
2019 was my last one. Yeah.
In the winter?
No.
Oh,
In the winter. I've only been in the winter. I think that's the
okay.
realistically, I've never been to summer games, and it's always been because ESA is like a week apart from that, pretty much. So for a while, like ESA never used to have two events. They used to have just ESA.
Hmm.
That's why I started calling it summer later. After COVID, they would consistently have winter events, although they didn't have one this year, but they would have winter events. So like what I would do was like travel to ESA in the summer, and then once winter rolled around, I'd go to GDQ, GDQ in the winter, and then so I'd like have somewhere to go in July and somewhere to go in January. And I was used to the weather conditions in Virginia and stuff like that. You know, I'm in a cold country,
Well,
so it wasn't a problem really.
well, we've been to the same event exactly one time then.
Is that 19?
Yeah, HDQ 2019.
Yeah. Do you run at that one?
Oh no, I was like not nobody back then.
Okay. Was there Mario one there though?
No,
No. Okay.
I don't. The only thing I remember that I would have like really wanted to watch is there was a Mario 3 ROM hack called 3 Mix.
Oh, okay.
That was good, and that was like right after Abney did Mario Kart
Dude,
64 run, and that's
dude,
like the
I
last
I
time.
watched Abney. I
Okay,
watched Abney live.
yeah,
Yeah, I was in the
yes,
crowd for Abney's run.
I was in the front row, so
Oh, dude. Okay, so, dude, we've
yes,
been a couple feet apart. Well, maybe a bit more than that. I was in like maybe third row or something like that. I was watching it with some GoldenEye runners at the time. That's like the only Nintendo that I've really dabbled in is like GoldenEye and Perfect Dark. So I ran a bit of that too. But yeah, I was watching with those guys. I was watching Abney play. It was pretty cool to see live.
yeah. With the group I hung out with, mostly Abney was a part of that group, so it worked out
Oh,
quite
sick.
well. But yeah, so I went to summer 18, winter 19, winter 20, and I wasn't in any of those events. I just went to go, and
Hmm.
I know a few people that went. Every GDQ post COVID, I've been on stage, although one of them was not because I got anything in. I just was able to be up there to do something. But yeah,
Yeah, like a
so
quick
you
thing.
remember the murder hallway in the winter storm?
A murder hallway. Yeah, I wasn't actually in the event space a ton, but you
Mm.
talking about like there was like this white, like it was like two
Hmm.
white walls that were like really squeezed together and they like bended. It was
It's
from the lobby. It was between the lobby and the event space, kind of
yes.
like.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, I do remember that.
It's just funny because
Odd.
everyone I've had on here that has talked about like going to events, we bring up 2019. Murder Hallway's always brought up every single time. So I got to keep the tradition alive. We all
Well,
remember it.
I do remember it. Like I recall it, but I only remember it being narrow. Like, was there anything like bad about it? Was it hot?
Oh, no, it was just
Like, did
narrow,
you?
but like the lighting was weird. It looked just hella sketchy. Like it was so
Okay.
short that like you couldn't like have two people pass each other sometimes just because of how
Okay.
enclosed it was. And
I see. I
it
see. Maybe I got lucky and like nobody was walking towards me
yeah,
when.
maybe not, but it also had a
Yeah.
bend, so you like couldn't
Yeah.
see where you were going for a while. I don't know. Just
Yeah. It's
everything
like a
about it was
maze.
sketchy as hell, but
Yeah, it was. I do remember that. It's funny.
it was just because there was construction in the uh path between the venue and the hotel, but man, everyone
Man.
remembers it because it was, we were only in that hotel once. Like they never went back
Yeah.
there
Yeah,
or
that's
anything.
true. Man, I remember walking outside of the venue and was it called Rock something?
Rock. Oh, I don't know.
No, like the place the hotel was at. I was like Rochester? No, I wasn't Rochester.
It was like North Bethesda,
Uh-huh. But yeah,
something
like
like that.
I'd never tried like any of the food that was in the area and it's like there was like Arby's and I was like I don't know what Arby's is. Like I literally
It
have
was
never
just
heard of it.
fast food there, yeah.
Yeah, that was just fast food there. So like I guess I had to try some of it. But yeah, I wasn't in the hotel space a ton. We had our own like B&B
Oh, okay.
at that year. But I hung out with everyone like, a little bit here and there. But it was fun. Yeah, it was a great year.
Yeah, I liked the venue itself. It was very just everything in the basement, like the floors were this nice carpeting.
Y- Yeah, the
The
carpet was
practice
nice and
room
the
was crazy, just high
oh, it was
ceilings.
massive.
It was massive.
It was massive. I remember the rows of CRTs. I've actually filmed a
Hmm.
little bit in there. Yeah. I actually think there's footage of that GDQ in my Jack series.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. There's footage of like so many ESAs and so many GDQs that like all of those those videos. That's like the authenticity I try to bring into it, you know.
Hmm.
It's like look, these are people. They're at the event. They're gaming here. Woo, it's like fun, right? Like I don't know. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, when that video is released, I will watch it, even though I know nothing about the game or anything. But
Yeah, I
you have
appreciate it.
enticed
I
me. I'm interested now.
That's cool, man. The first like half of the video was very much about the game, especially like so they're called like eras. They're like era 1, era 2, whatever. Like that's like my cool way of saying part.
Hmm.
Era 1 is almost exclusively the game. So it's like this is like the first guy, here's how he got through the game and it takes me like a while to explain all of that stuff. So you can see like the mission order and how you get through the game. And then you start getting the progression and then like you get to see people's personal journeys and the rivalries and all this stuff. So it kind of like it keeps you on your toes. Like I don't keep it too mundane. I like to think there's different arcs, there's different eras, right? Like
Hmm.
it's cool. Yeah, but I don't blame you if you quit halfway through. It is long, but yeah, I appreciate you like considering it despite the length, man.
I mean, I've seen very long videos before, and you don't have to watch it all at once, obviously.
Yeah, that's true.
But like I watched Bismuth's videos for the like A button challenge as they came out, so I didn't need to see the supercut.
Yeah, same here.
But yeah, I have not
It was
touched
a
it
cool
yet,
series.
so I will have to go through the whole thing. Very important.
Yep.
Well, I can't really think of anything, at least specifically to ask. Kind of went over timeline, YouTube content, marathon runs. Uh,
Being in marathons. Yeah.
Obviously, yeah, the game specific stuff you go over in YouTube content, so we don't have to like dive into here or anything. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there anything we haven't talked about that you feel is important to talk about? I mean,
Um yeah, maybe give me a minute to ponder on that. I
yeah.
think I've made it very clear that that I very much care about the game. Or
Hmm.
like not the game, about the game as in like the community, the whole space, speed running as a whole. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Um made it very obvious. I guess I have some like long-term dreams that I don't think I'll ever be able to do because money.
Mm.
Um, but like I would really like to turn like I would love to do my own marathon, honestly, because I live in a very like I live in Denmark, and it's a pretty cool country. Not a lot of people know about it, or like a lot of people don't. They've never been here. It's a pretty small country. We have about 6 million people, and our capital is absolutely beautiful. Um, and if I ever had the money or something, I'd love to like host my own marathon or host like a hangout or something like that. Um, I have been thinking that when I turn 30, again, it's just like some wild dream
Mm.
that I can just invite like a million speedrunners over to this. Like I rent like this one place, and they all just show up, and we have a good time, and there could be like a little 2-day marathon there or something like that. Like I just want to do more things that involve like elevating people in the scene. I want to give more people opportunities to like chase partnership on Twitch and potentially make a living or get a little boost out of the game, or boost a player base in some communities so they can find some new glitches, or bring life into the new game, and stuff like that, because I feel like that's like very important. I think people mindlessly speedrun without thinking about the fact that like, oh, like we need to keep this game alive somehow. Like, how do we do that? Oh, we need to keep finding stuff, otherwise like this game gets boring, or it's like, oh, we're like there's like a lot of little things to think about. It's like I'm quite ethereal with like the thought process there, because it's like, I still speedrun a lot and I do practice and all that stuff a lot, but for marathon stuff, I don't really prepare for marathons anymore. Like I don't submit things where I have to like hardcore practice for like a month leading up to that event. Like I've kind of done that. I feel,
Mm.
and I'm okay with leaving that on the shelf. So I just want to show people how fun speedrunning is and how welcoming it is, through my streams or through my showcases at ESA or GDQ, and my YouTube videos and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. Going forward, man, I'm just gonna keep doing my thing. I want to keep growing my channel. I'm hoping that speedrunning stays relevant for quite a while, because I love doing what I do. It is very tiresome though, I will say. Like I spend a ton of time on videos, man. It's not like I pump them out after, like some people might think the videos take like 20, 40 hours or whatever, but like, this whole Jack series probably 1,500 hours. This last video was like
Jesus.
easily over 200 hours. It gets kind of outrageous how much you sit and you perfect the script and how much you edit and stuff like that. It's like, man, is this worth it, and you start wondering things like that. But I think at the end of the day, you're doing it for the love of the community and for the love of the game, and I want to continue to do that. That's kind of my role now, is bring more people to have a good time with it. There's new people that haven't been to an ESA yet that are coming, that are asking me a bunch of questions and DMs, and I try to answer as many things as I can, because I'm quite a veteran at the scene, and yeah, I just want to help as much as possible, man. I struggle to be egotistical about speed running. I should, like, realistically I should make videos that are shorter, that come out faster, and that just make a bunch of like money and views and stuff like that. Like I really should be focusing on that, but I have some level of authenticity that I can't like seem to just get rid of in like just like that. I can't it feels wrong. I get stomach issues like when I do
Mm.
something that's like not authentic to me. I've genuinely had like my body go against me. Like I get like a tightness like here, like I get like stress, and I can feel it on my body. It's like this pain that's like right here. So if I don't like go with what is in my gut, I can't like my body tells me no, like you
Mm.
do this thing, and I think that's a good sign. It keeps me on course for what I believe in.
That seems to be working out pretty well, at least.
I think so, yeah.
Well, out of curiosity, since you do both, high level speedrunning and good content creation, how do you maintain that balance? Or like,
You don't
yeah,
you don't
no.
you don't, man. Like it's super hard.
Well, what do you do at
I
least?
What do? I do one thing for a while and then I do the other thing. Basically, it's just the way it
You
is.
just can't do like you can't multitask.
It is possible. It's just hard, and I've felt the drawbacks from doing both. It's very very difficult. I think a very disciplined person could do it. Um, I have had moments where I was able to do both, but it's just like it's super hard. Um, when I went to California in October of 2024 and I came back, I streamed for 6 weeks straight every day, and I did video editing in the evening too. And right around mid December, I burned out completely, and I burned out for longer than I was doing it for those 6 weeks. I burned out for like 2 months, so I felt really crappy about that. So I'm trying to be careful to not do that again. But like right now, I'm just working on videos. I'm not really streaming anything. I don't really feel like hardcore grinding anything or improving my PB on anything. So I don't really have like a main game at the moment. Um, so right now, I'm just enjoying the process of making YouTube stuff. And then once I've made some YouTube stuff, I'll go back to speedrunning and then, just kind of bounce back and forth. I think it's okay if you're willing to be okay with your Twitch sub numbers falling, but then like you get a bit more on YouTube and then those fall a bit and then you get it back on Twitch. And if you're okay with that swing, I think do whatever works for you, really. Um, so I think it is possible. It is very possible. It's also possible to, um, say like I'm gonna do Twitch on these days of the week and then YouTube on these days of the week. But I just feel like it's too scheduled, especially if like you're really grinding a run and you're like right at the cusp of it and you can just get a PB, but then you got to wait like 3 days because I'm supposed to do YouTube in these 3 days. It's like no, like go get it, and are excited to see you chase that record or something like that. So I say do what feels the best, but obviously be smart about it. Um, I'm not always smart about it. Like the Jack series I did, horrible for the channel. If I'm gonna be honest, I'm just doing it because I love Jack and I love the community. But I could have made 9 other videos that could have gotten like way more views or anything like that. Picking different topics because frankly, Jack's not like super popular in that sense. But yeah, it's hard, man. Especially because there's no shortcut in getting good at speedrunning. You have to practice. You have to get good at analyzing other people's runs. You have to use proper methods if you want to catch up with someone else. Like you have to do what they do, or you have to innovate and use your brain to come up with new strategies to try and outsmart your like either your opponent or your own time, or try to you know the game or whatever. And for YouTube, I mean, dude, I do 90% of it. For the Jack series, I got a lot more help than usual, but I do all the writing, I do all the voiceovers. Sometimes I do the research where I like my current video, I wrote the entire I have documents writing the whole world record history of that game. It's not been documented. I'm timing version differences because no one has done that either. I'm timing language differences because no one's done that either. It's like sometimes you have to do this extra work that you didn't expect that to do. But if you want to make a great video, I feel like it adds to that. And I do all the editing too. A lot of people that do YouTube scripted content, they have an editor, and I don't blame them because editing takes a long time. But personally, I like editing. I actually dislike writing the most because English is my second language, and I can't always wrap my head around how to get what's in here onto a piece of paper. And I know it might not sound like I'm struggling with English. My English is pretty good, but it's still I'm missing vocabulary. Like I'll fall into conversations where I don't know a specific word, and it's like, oh wow, this a sentence could have been told so much easier and way more concisely if I knew this metaphor or something like that. So I don't like writing sometimes. I get stuck in it, but no one else can do it because no one else was there but you at
Mhm.
that point. So if I played Ratchet and I'm getting a writer to do it for me, it's like what does he know? Like I was
Mhm.
there, he wasn't, but he can edit, which is the part that I enjoy. So I'm never gonna like stop editing my own videos. Probably like maybe I'll get someone to edit something from my Twitch or second channel stuff, but like my main channel videos, they're edited by me. So I do almost everything. It's just very small stuff like thumbnails that I hate doing. It's not like I can't do it. It's just I hate doing it. Um, that I just get other people to help me out with really. So yeah, it's a very time consuming process, and trying to manage a you know trying to get better at my sport too. I'm trying to lose some weight and get in shape and stuff like that. Make sure I don't absolutely burn like a tomato in the summer and just take care of my body. I'm getting a little older here, so yeah,
Got it.
it's a lot to manage.
Yeah, it sounds like it, but people can do it against all odds because it does
You just,
sound really hard.
yeah, you just got to make sure you're streaming for like 4 hours, and then you make videos for 4 hours, and then you got a hard stop, which is hard because sometimes you do nothing. Like you can sit there for 4 hours, but you get nothing done. You get distracted. You can't come up with anything, and it's like you got nothing done. And then sometimes, like towards the end of that 4 hour session, you're like locked in, and you got to tell yourself, "Oh, I'm stopping for the day." It's like, no, dude, I'm locked in. Like like why would I stop? But you have to because otherwise you burn out. So it's like a super hard balance to just. I'm unable to do it. I'll just be frank. I'm unable to do it. I might be able to get it back at some point, but as of right now, I'm just focusing on YouTube videos and taking it easy, really.
Well, it sounds like that's what's best for you at the moment. So, and you always got to
Yeah, I'll
do
be
what's best.
yeah, I'll be back on speedrunning some other time for sure.
It's not going anywhere. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it sounds like that's everything, right?
Yeah, no, I think that's it. Um, I think that's it. Yeah, I think now you know who I am and what I run and all this stuff. If you are curious, just anybody in chat, I'm just gonna link my speedrun.com profile just because it's pretty extensive and it's pretty funny if you go all the way to the bottom. You'll have runs that say 11 years old
Hmm.
and stuff like that. It says my account is from it says I joined 10 years ago. So my speedrun.com account is like 3 years after I started speedrunning. Like I was way before speedrun.com, I suppose. But yeah, there it is. That's just the only thing. I don't mean to like plug or anything,
It's,
but that's just wanted to show how many funny games I've ran, I guess.
well, I'm about to ask you to plug, so don't worry. But
Okay.
before that, the final question I usually ask, and you touched on it briefly a little bit, but just future plans, short term, long term, speed run content, anything. What to look forward to, I guess.
Yeah. A couple things. I'm working on my next video and I will try to get that out in mid-May. I want to get it out in a month and I'm looking for it to be like half an hour around there. I'm done making these like 1 hour videos. They take the life out of me. And it's going to be a game I haven't covered on my channel. It's going to be a surprise. It's not like a new game that is a yeah, it's a yeah, it's the game will surprise you, but once it comes out, it's a cool story, trust me. So I'm working on a new video. Simultaneously I'm working on the supercut. That'll come out next weekend, I hope. I'm facing some rendering issues right now and also I'm working on like an A and B thumbnail type thing, so haven't done that yet. So supercut, working on a new video. That's like the next two YouTube videos in line. For Twitch, I'm not really planning on streaming anytime soon, but I am going to 3 marathons. I'm going to UKSG in Scotland at the end of May. I'll run Jack there. There's ESA in mid to late June. I'm running Flash Game Gauntlet 2 and Monster Racer there. And I'm going to Australia for the first time in mid July for ASM Australian Speedrun Marathons 10-year anniversary. I've had a lot of friends from down under that I've literally never seen in the speedrunning scene, so I can't wait to go there. And I'm gonna go snorkel diving in the Great Barrier Reef. That's gonna be beautiful.
Wow.
I've never seen the ocean like that. I've never been that far out into the sea, so that'll be a pretty crazy experience. And then I'm gonna go down to Adelaide and hang out there for a week. Um, and yeah, I don't know if I'm running anything at ASM yet, but yeah, I'm going to 3 marathons this summer. It's gonna be quite busy. So that's
Wow.
what's coming up in the next few. Yeah, two videos I'm working on and 3 marathons.
And Australia for you is like quite literally the other side of the world.
Yep, it is a long trip. Yeah,
Wow.
I'm excited.
Well, that's fun. Yeah, I've never,
Very.
at least not for speed running, I've never been out of the country. So it'd be cool to do that sometime. But again, just the budget is hard.
Yeah, and it's hard when you're in the US. Everything's so like locked in and stuff. But you
Yeah,
can go to places in the US that have like pretty good nature. I really
yeah.
want to go back to California at some point. It was beautiful there.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'll be there in a couple months for a big Mario 1 tournament. But
Oh, sick.
yeah, I'm sure you've seen the Flibbity Dibbity tech.
No?
Oh, okay. Have you not seen the
No.
technology where all the racers are on one screen and there's a timing tower
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah, of course. I just
yeah,
did not know that that was the name of it. Yeah, they
okay.
showed that off a little bit at Pace, right?
Yes, there
Yeah.
was every summer pace for a couple years they had a big Mario 1 tournament, but since that ended, we had to move somewhere else. So it's going to be part of like SoCal Gaming Expo in Pasadena.
That's
So
super cool.
yeah, sorry, I guess yeah, that's the name of the guy that made the tech. So,
Okay. Right.
but yes,
I see.
I don't know what else to call it. I don't know. It's such a new, interesting technology. It's hard to.
Dude, it's awesome, man. Like, not to go on another tangent, but like the Jack games have also had a full decompilation, and every game has like the games are just exploding in popularity with mods and stuff like that. It's super cool to
Mm,
see, man. I love the mods that we've been seeing for and ROM hacks and randomizers and custom levels and all this
yeah,
stuff. It's just so cool, man. Like, it's cool.
yeah, all that's cool, but the Mario 1 stuff, there's no modding there really. You mod the consoles
Yeah,
to accept, data into a computer, but it's not altering the
oh,
game
really?
or anything. Yeah.
Is it pulling the RGB signal or something? Or
There's something hooked up. I don't know the exact detail. I had an interview with the guy, so
yeah,
he'll probably explains it all there. I don't really remember,
okay.
but
I could go
like
look it up.
it's original consoles, original controllers, original cartridges. It's all authentic. It's just there's something in the consoles that's being read by a computer, and then all of his programming creates everything. But it's I don't know. I think it's the
That's super
future
cool.
of races. Um,
Yeah, no, that is sick.
so
Love to see that.
I really want to see what comes of that because currently it's still just Mario 1 and it has been for a while, and that works out for me. But I mean, there's other people in other games, and it's just so much work. So I wonder how that can be. I wonder how the future of that can be. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah,
Tangent aside.
yeah, no, but it seems really cool. I've seen it before. It's got that whole like widescreen thing.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
It's cool.
excited to see what comes of that. But yeah, all that to say, I'll be in California in 2 months. Tangents.
Sick.
But yeah,
Yeah. No, it's nice.
uh, I guess that's everything.
Yeah.
Sounds
All
like that's
right.
everything.
For sure.
So,
That's what's coming up for me though. Like, just
yeah.
some marathons and some videos. Pretty simple.
Well,
Maintain. Keep at it.
the last thing to say then is where can people watch that kind of stuff?
You can watch my YouTube videos on youtube.com/slash ThaRixer. I recommend if you want to watch any of my, any introduction level video that you don't want to start with the Jack series right away, watch the Ultimate Roulette of Speedrunning. Watch my The Man Who Broke Ratchet in Half, The Man Who Broke Spyro in Half, The Man Who Broke God of War in Half for great videos. My 8 Power Cell video for Jack is very, very good. My Hoven video for Ratchet is good as well. And then if you like that stuff, dig into the Jack series, man. You won't regret it. It's my life's work. I poured my heart into it. I did everything I could to make it as good as possible. Lots of little Easter eggs in there that are just kind of unknown, like the fact that the whole 6.5 hour span doesn't duplicate one song. It's all
Mm,
unique tracks the whole way. So yeah.
well,
And on Twitch, follow me on Twitch. I don't really use Twitter anymore. I have it on, but I've logged off. I come on every now and then to post a tweet, but I'm not really on there. I'm on Blue Sky now.
based.
So follow me on Blue Sky, and I stream on Twitch every now and then. I stream in bursts, I would say. So if you see me offline for a while, just keep waiting, and you might see a couple consecutive streams back to back. And I have a Discord server where I announce that kind of stuff. So yeah, I post new videos in my Discord and announce when I stream. So that's my socials.
All right, that's everything. I guess we can call it a day.
Yeah,
So,
thank you GTAs for this. You're a legend in the game, man. Like seriously, like I love talking to other speedrunners that just have done a lot for their game or their community, man. Like when you reached out, I was like, yeah, dude, I'm super down to do this.
well, I'm glad people seem to be interested because been doing this a
Of course.
while.
Mm-hmm.
Every day it gets harder and harder to find new people, but also not. I mean, it's so large, but you just start to go outside your circles, and it's like, where do I go from here? But I'm glad people from all over seem to be at least a little interested, so makes me happy
Mm-hmm.
because I just like listening to people talk about speedrunning. That's my thing
Yeah, me too.
because I'm not much of a yapper myself, but that's what other people can do for me, and then I just listen and go,
That's
yeah.
sick. It's cool you put
114
this on.
times or whatever we're on, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, I think that's everything. So I guess thanks for watching, everyone. Check the Twitch, check the YouTube. New episodes all the time. Yeah,
Every Sunday.
every Sunday, in theory. I try my best. At least on YouTube, every Sunday. But
Yeah.
all right. That'll be all. Take care, everyone. Have a good day. And goodbye.
Have a good one. Peace.